Hey Capricorn, welcome to Divine Duality Tarot. My name is TJ. It is July and I have a love reading for you. So what I'm going to do here is try to do a pretty quick reading, get a good idea of what's going on between you and your romantic interest. That way you get a little bit of forewarning as to what's going on here in July. So the way I do it is I draw three that will represent your energy, kind of get a good idea of what's actually going on deep down in you. And then I draw another three to represent what's going on with your partner, your interest, whoever this person may be. And then I draw another three for the point of interest. What is the issue? More or less, why is this energy even a thing? A lot of times this third draw here is, what is the point of actual contention? What are we not seeing eye to eye with? So I'm going to go ahead and start with you, Capricorn, get a good idea what's going on deep down, what your energy is in this situation. Leading it out, we have the Eight of Cups, which is walking away, it's moving on in an emotional sense. It's something, if there's an issue, it's, getting over it and just getting out of the situation, just as a basic example. And then you have the Five of Swords, which is arguments. It's arguing over the truth, arguing over a situation. I mean, it is legitimately arguing. It is not seeing eye to eye. And then you have the Queen of Pentacles, which is dependability and generosity in the physical world. This is the type of messaging. Pentacles usually represent physical world, such as things like money, such as things like your house and home. It could be something as simple as your flesh and blood. We do, as humans, exist in the physical world. So what we have is you're giving and giving and giving, and you're not getting in return. And it's keeping you from being able to move on to a better emotional state. Let's go over them real quick because I really do. Okay. They have the Fool. The Fool is, and don't take that as an insult, but they're radiating that Fool energy, which is a new beginning, a fresh start, a leap of faith. That could be for the better or worse. You could either be leaping into a big pile of gold, or you could be leaping into a river full of crocodiles. This is blind faith. A lot of times, getting a new job that's outside of your comfort zone can be a leap of faith. Or if you always have a type, just in the dating instance, if you always have a type, certain eye color, certain hair color, and you just decide one day, you know what, I'm going to try something different. That is a leap of faith. It is outside of your comfort zone. Then they have the Chariot. The Chariot is your relationship, okay? You have two forces pulling the Chariot. Those two forces are you and the other individual. Chariot represents strong moves. It's bold, it's powerful, it's fast moving. But if both of those forces pulling the Chariot are not in line, they're pulling apart. Now, when you have different views on how something goes and it's pulling apart, things come back together, things pull apart, they come back together, but the Chariot still moves forward. The relationship is still progressing. But what happens when those two forces never come back together? For quite a while, the Chariot's still moving forward, but the more we come apart, the slower the Chariot gets, until at one point, they're going that way, you're going that way. I have a wall right here, so apparently you're hitting the wall. But the Chariot's no longer moving. And when the relationship stalls, it's really hard to get it moving again. And then they have the Three of Pentacles, which is success in the physical world. They have new powerful energy going into this issue, but they're not seeing that eye to eye. They have jumped into a new situation, and that's pulling away from where you're at. They see success where they're going. They're going their own way. So what is the underlying issue? They have the King of Cups. The King of Cups is stability, is understanding. That's no longer the case. You have the Ace of Cups, which is a new love. Interesting. And then you have the Lovers, which is values alignment, it is soulmate energy. It's not necessarily soulmates, but it's that type of strong conjoined energy. They have passion for something new. And I'm believing that it is someone new. They're distracted. They're distracted by something. And that has caused a breakdown with stability and understanding with your emotional part of the relationship. And it has definitely drove a wedge between the values that you and that other person share. It's causing arguments because you don't see that same forward motion that they do. They have started going in a different way. And you don't like that because that's the status quo being destroyed. Did they just recently start meeting new friends and they're hanging out with them more? Or they start a new job, and maybe at that new job there's an individual who has their interest piqued, and maybe they are starting to see success with that person. Interesting. But the more you argue, the more you get tired of arguing, to the point where you've really been considering moving on yourself. Is this relationship just not worth keeping? Is this situation not worth it? Because the closer you get to giving up, the more they're going to be validated in their mentality. I mean, think about it. If you are doing something and encountering resistance, and eventually that resistance stops, do you stop too, or do you just keep going? Man, what an interesting situation you got here, Capricorn. Very, very interesting. I don't like it because this is something starting toward a very painful end. You had aligned values, which are the most important thing in a relationship, in my opinion. A lot of people see different things with that. In my opinion, having shared values as underlying it, it's the foundation of the relationship. Are you starting to see that maybe those values were never really there in the first place? Okay, I'm going to ask two questions because I don't like where things are heading in this relationship right now. So this first question, we're going to do some polar opposites. Get a good idea of the extreme this way, the extreme that way. That way maybe you can kind of find something in the middle. What happens if you just give up, it's whatever? What happens if Capricorn they stop arguing, they move on? And what happens if you fight to get things back where they were? You decide you want to put your foot down, Capricorn, and you just say, you know what, I'm going to fight this crap. We're going to get it back to what it was. What happens? We're going to start out, normally I go left to right, but the way this came out, I'm going to read it right to left. The second question was, what happens if you fight? You fight to stay, you fight to make things work, you fight to get things back where they were when you had stability and understanding. Knight of Wands, fast action, passion. Things are going to go better. Things will get better because you will start to push to make things better. Then you have the Lovers again, which is values alignment. Sounds good, right? Three of Swords. You have two truths and another truth shoved right down the middle. This is heartache. This is a broken heart. Staying in this situation as is, arguing, trying to get it back to what it was, is not going to end well. You'll start seeing patterns from before, but ultimately it's going to end on a bad note because they're not going to change. They're already set on this bold new path. They've already taken a leap of faith. They're moving in one direction. Pulling them back into line is going to take considerable effort, and it may never even come to fruition. And you may argue, and they may see, oh, maybe I do need to come back in line. So from your viewpoint, the argument is won. All right, I'm bringing them back in, and it's all coming together. You're starting to see those values come to fruition again. Maybe this is the same person, but it's not. It's not. The change has occurred. They've already seen success with what they're doing. It will end in heartache. You will be back at square one. Actually, you will be worse than square one because you are already experiencing failure now. Imagine if you see success and then fail again and realize that all you did was postpone the inevitable. All is not lost. If you follow your intuition, your deep down core feminine energy, the core divine spirit of your gut telling you that things are wrong, follow it. Follow your gut. Follow it. It's going to lead you toward walking away. It's going to lead you toward moving on in an emotional sense. Whatever this issue is, move on from it because staying and fighting is only going to lead to heartache. And you have power. You have insane power that if you tap into your intuition, follow your intuition and go where it's telling you, you have the magician, which is the ability to manifest. And it's somebody who has emotion, they have willpower, they have truth, and they have, in the physical world, they have your pentacles, the ability to get things done. And then you have the Ace of Cups, which is a reiteration of that, a new love, a new passion, a new emotion that is good. Capricorn, fighting this fight, you're not going to win. You may, if you decide that you want to fight, you don't go along with the moving on, you decide you want to fight, you will see results that will look like things are getting better. But it's just going to fall right back in your face. Whereas if you move on, follow your intuition, what it's screaming to you, this isn't worth it, then you have the ability to make things better. You have the willpower to make things better. And you'll find your new love, your new passion. That's worth fighting for in its own. More or less, don't fight them. Fight yourself and win. Fight whatever this is. You're fighting the status quo that you're wanting. You need to come to the realization that that status quo is gone. It's not where it was because this person has already taken steps away from it. And not just steps, solid steps. They know what they're doing. You need to find out what you're doing. You need to not live in the past. What you need to do is live in the present and push toward a future. This person is pulled away. It's not worth hurting yourself more because the only person that's going to end up with a broken heart is you. Capricorn, you are the one who will lose. Not them. They will find success. They will be okay. Do you really want to be the one left in the dust? Do you want to be the one watching them keep moving? Hoping that they'll stop and walk backward to meet you? Capricorn, you're better than that. You have to follow your gut because you can own the world right now. You can find your new love, your new passion, and move on to a better place. A place that you will be successful. A place that you will be happy. You just gotta, things will never be what they were. You have to understand that. You have to understand that. It's not going back. It's too late. It's done. They're not gonna come back to the way things were. It's impossible for them. They are already moving. They already see success. It's just going to end in heartache if you keep going. Capricorn, you are not someone to mess with right now. The only person holding you back is you. Embrace what you are capable of and make this work, okay? Make it work for you. Settle this on your terms, not theirs, not what was. Settle it on what could be. And no, not the Magician. This needs to be you. This needs to be you. Make the High Priestess your model right now. Make the High Priestess your focus. Intuition. Intuition. Follow your gut. Don't follow your heart because your heart can be misled. Your heart can cling onto the past. Things that make us warm inside we want to cling to. But using the cheesiest metaphors possible, if you want to stay close to that fire that kept your heart warm, that fire's running out of fuel. What happens when it runs out of fuel? Now you're in the cold again because you stuck around in that same crap situation when you could have left that house altogether and found somewhere that was more what you could control. Somewhere with a much better fire, a much bigger fire. Don't follow your heart. It's going to lead you back to the past. And don't follow your head, because since you're still arguing, you're still trying to rationalize what they're doing. Follow your intuition, follow your gut, follow that third force. That thing that's telling you, that nagging feeling in the back of your mind. It's time to move on and get away from this crap. All right? Capricorn, I have faith in you. Have faith in yourself. And I really do appreciate you sticking through this video. I really do appreciate you hearing what I have to say, and hopefully this messaging helps you to make a choice that's going to be better for yourself, all right? So with that, Capricorn, excuse me, I'll catch you next time.